Welcome to May 6, 2016 Friday Focus, and we're going to talk about a subject that I brought up before actually in 2006, 10 years ago. I think it was in June. We had a big meeting and we started some of our kickoffs. And in fact, 2006 of this year, 2006 of June is when I actually started working at Allure full time. Prior to that, I was only like part time here. So it'll be my anniversary in June. But something we talked about before and had to do with how we were scheduling patients and how we were kind of running our business and even how you can sometimes, kind of enrich your life. So we can imagine, let me tell you what made me think about talking about this at Friday Focus today. I was at a restaurant downtown and I went on Open Table and it was kind of a last minute thing, Open Table to go to Joe Muir's, which is the nicest restaurant in Detroit, in my opinion. And I couldn't get any reservations until 8:30. So let's go there early, they probably have spots, So I get down there at 7 o'clock and, place is maybe half full. And I go to the stand, what do you call it, maitre d' stand, whatever. And she goes, oh, we don't have anything until 8:30 when you're scheduled because we're sold out. I'm like, well, geez, like half the tables are empty. She goes, well, those are reserved. They're reserved tables. And I said, well, more than likely, if you seat us there, not every single person is going to show up. Somebody's going to, seat us at a table of two, and there's a good chance that tonight, with you have 30 tables available, the chance of 95 or 98% showing up is pretty slim. She goes, well, yeah, we got to reserve them. So I did something a little tricky. I just went to the maitre d' that knows me. He's the guy that kind of runs the business. I said, hey, look, I need a table. And he got us one, no problem. But the reality is his front desk people were willing to turn away business in anticipation that everything goes perfect. And we just chatted a little bit. He goes, yeah, that's the problem we have is we want them to use some intelligence behind this and realize that, yeah, if the restaurant's 80% capacity and you have reservations for the other 20%, you probably got to make people wait. But if we're at 50% capacity, that means only 50% of the people showed up, we're probably going to be okay. And it's hard to really teach that. And part of that first is understanding the hows, how you make those decisions. So imagine, we'll talk about in your life. In your life, you've got a bucket that makes up your time. And in the bucket, you've got a certain amount of time, maybe 24 hours in a day. And we all have the same amount of time. So no matter how you slice it, nobody gets more time than somebody else. Now in your bucket, you've got things that you have to put into it. You've got, say, rocks, which represent things that are really important in your life. For me, it's taking vacations and, talking to my kids, and used to be riding my motorcycle. I'm not riding the motorcycle anymore, going camping. I love that, riding my boat. And those are really important things. And you have sand, use a different color here. Sand, which are things that are not quite as important, but you kind of need to do. And you sort of like doing them. For me, I used to like cutting the grass. I don't really anymore, but I kind of enjoy cutting the grass, but not my first choice. Maybe it's like, working in my office. I like to read, and there's things that are important to me, but not like my main pleasure things. And then there's other things you have to do, which we would call water. Now, the water are things that you have to do that you don't really, want to do. And the water might be like, for me it would be doing something like doing the dishes. I've never really done the dishes, but I can't imagine doing that. And that would be definitely a water. Or like cleaning the garage. I don't like cleaning the garage, so I hire somebody to clean the garage. So the water is things that you have to do or your life is disorganized and you don't want to. But you got to get them all done. Now in this bucket, which is a time, if you fill the bucket up with water, okay, and you're doing all the stuff that you have to do, like going to work and making your kids lunches and doing the laundry and cleaning the house. How do you get a rock inside that bucket? You put a rock in there, the water spills out. There's no room. You certainly can't put any sand in there. So you're stuck just having a bucket full of water. Now let's say you take the same bucket of your time, and in it you put sand in it. The sand is red. So you fill it up with sand, and it's all full of sand, and those are things that you kind of want to do, but you maybe don't want to do necessarily, aren't your favorite things to do. You can actually, when you put sand into your bucket of life, you can still fit in water because the sand is porous, and it'll allow water to drip in. So we can get a little bit of water in there as well, because water will fill the little holes in between the sand. So now you've got a world where you've got sand in it, you can still put water in it, but you can't put any rocks into it. So the rocks are sitting out here. These are things you want to do, like take a vacation. For me, it would be taking like traveling or going somewhere or seeing something new. You know, I have one of those maps at home that you hang on the wall and you put the pins in it of where you've been and where you want to go. And I had to order a bunch more pins of the place I want to go. There's so many places I want to go to. And unless I get some of this water and sand on my bucket, I can't go there. So let's say you take the same bucket of your time and you fill it up with rocks. Now you still have all kinds of room for sand. And even when you put the rocks and sand in there, you still have time for water. Okay? And if you schedule your life by scheduling rocks in there for sure, and you obviously can't do them every day, but you plan a vacation. Now I know some people here have never taken a vacation. That is a horrible idea. Okay? You need to take a vacation if you want to. Or think about things that you want to do, you need to schedule time for it, because the water will still get done. Remember, it's going to keep pouring way back into your life. But if you just focus on the things that you have to do, you can't do the things that you want to do. And I'm going to just segue into a little story, and now talk to you about why I wanted to bring this up. So I told this story to Dr. Aquino back when she was a patient of ours. Dr. Aquino works in the Shelby office. She was a patient of ours, and she kind of wanted to maybe get work at Allure, but it just wasn't in the cards because her kids were, or she had one baby, Coco, who was just born and not ready to really work that many more hours, and it just wasn't time for her. But I told her a story, and she made me this plant. And the planter's got rocks in it, and it's got sand in it, and it's got water. What I like about it is mostly rocks. Usually doesn't have as much water in it. Maria just filled it up. In fact, surprisingly, after years of my personal neglect, the thing's still growing. Because you're supposed to put Miragrow in it or something like that, and one time I dumped like a cup full of it in there and turned all yellow. And then Donna rehabilitated it, and we've gone through different things, but after all these years, the rock, sand, water is still living. Okay, so the rock, sand, water, bamboo is still living. But that was representing the same thing, your time. So how does it apply to our job here at Shelby Township? We had a phrase that everybody who worked here 10 years ago knew. And it's called never block rock space. Okay, never block rock space. And what does that mean to us? Never block rock space. And when you're trying to make decisions, you would maybe ask yourself this question. So let's talk about what a rock is. Okay? Let's look at the jobs that we do in a given day at work. We've got to say clean the office, and we've got to do some meetings and huddle and stuff like that. We've got to do some surgery rechecks. We've got to deal with some patients that aren't happy with what they had done. They're trying to work us for free, procedures or something. We've got some dermatology to do. We've got some veins to do. We've got some HRT to do, and we've got some rechecks to do. We have some consults to do. The consults could be good or bad. So what is a rock? We can define a rock as something that brings value to our practice, and we want to do it. So if it has value to our practice and we want to do it, we could easily call that like a rock, right? Because it's something that we want to do. We like doing it. Like I like doing laser ablations. Courtney tells me, man, I love doing the veins. That would be her rock. She wants to do the veins. And if she's stuck doing a bunch of surgery checks, maybe she can't do the rock. And then what is a water? A water would be like things that we have to do that do not bring value to practice, and we don't necessarily want to do it. And like a good example would be like a surgery recheck. We're really kind of just doing the job. We have to do it. Definitely has to be done. But it's not really bringing value to our practice. It might be dealing with a patient who wants to complain. I had a patient the other day. He saw Dr. A for Fraxel, and then he comes in 3 days later and complains to Christine or somebody, and then he sends an appointment up, Dr. Moak only, and a week later they're complaining about the Fraxel. He said, I was told it's supposed to be 100% gone after one treatment, and it's not 100% gone. I said, well, sometimes it takes a couple weeks or months to get a result, and you do it multiple times. No. I was told to be 100% gone after one treatment. And I fired him from our practice. I gave him his money back, and I told him I want to see him or any of his family members again, because there was no value there. He's going to give him his money back, and I don't want him in here again, because he was lying. I know that nobody in our office said, your acne scarring is going to be 100% gone after one treatment. And he already wasted time of 2 people complaining about it. He was a guy that was kind of a scam artist, okay? And that's definitely not, rock space. That's water space. But if we put him on Tuesday at 6 p.m., guess what he's doing? He's blocking rock space. This guy is wasting our time, he's wanting money, he's kind of like stealing from us, and he's blocking rock space. So when you're building your schedule and building your day, we got to figure out how to not block rock space. One thing is to realize that, say, after 5 or 6 o'clock on the evenings, those are really scarce and valuable. So after, in the evenings, those are scarce and valuable times. So let's say 5 to 8 p.m., we're not working every night, every day 5 to 8 p.m. At noon everybody's here, but at 5 to 8 p.m. there's only so many people here and only so many days that were available for it. That is definitely rock time. And when you're looking at your schedule, you should decide that maybe we shouldn't be blocking rock space, which is production of things that we want to do, with things that we don't want to do. Maybe that's not the best time to do a suture removal, or see a patient that's upset about their thing and they want to get a refund or something like that. And we've kind of done that to some degree. We block certain things at a certain time. When we look at the schedule, sometimes they get, well, you know, they can't accommodate another consult or another procedure because the schedule looks full. Like at the restaurant, I mean, not everybody's going to show up. The reality is 80% of people show up on a given day. So you have to ask yourself, well, we had 120% capacity or 100%? If we're at 100% capacity, we've actually got 20% capacity built in because they're not going to show up. And it might be something that it's a perfect thing where people show up at the same time. In reality, it just doesn't happen. When I used to work Saturdays seeing consults, I knew the Saturday show-up rate was very, very low. So I doubled the schedule because we knew that not everybody would show up. Once in a while, it was like horrible weather, everybody would show up. It was pretty rare. So rock space is the time that, rock space is the space in our schedule that allows us to schedule things that are valuable to us and that we want to do. And if we bog that down with things that have low value to us, we can't really grow in the direction we want to go. So start looking at your schedule and try cleaning the water and the sand out of your rock space. Look at your primary times that people want to get procedures done and start making those more adjusted for just things that have value to practice and things that you want to do. And you actually be able to schedule yourself better because during your slow times, you'll be able to take care of the water, get it out of the way. It's kind of like, you know, cleaning up your house before your kids are awake or something like that. So that's the Friday Focus, and thank you very much.